Oh no! Oh no! Ah! Ah! Everything explodes to mine! Oh my gosh. See ya, Mutas, they all die with Mutas trying to snipe these Templar. 1 down, 2 down. And he can't storm on his own units. He's gonna get the 3rd High Templar too.
Now he's pulling the drones. They've got to hold on here, but
Okay, już przyjdziesz mi słuchawki.
Okay,
3, I think it's like 3 or 5 seconds. I forgot my headphones.
In the end, True Touch comes out.
Okay.
Several lings on top.
I think it should be ending. Okay. Welcome back everyone. This is BSL Season 8 starting, and I'm here with Mr. Rapid Super Gosu Caster from Korea. And from USA, I don't know. Where are you from, Mr. Rapid?
Yeah, you know, it's a hard time to be from anywhere right now. There's a lot going on, but it's a brand new year. So if you have any New Year's resolutions, hopefully one of them is to watch more BSL because it's a brand new season. I'm super excited to be here. So thanks for having me, Zero. Okay. Yeah, I think you might need to scoot me over behind my monitor on screen. We're ruining the illusion. Also, apparently there's no sound on stream.
Oh,
so.
Sorry. I just wanted to say that Mr. Rapid is professional caster. Thank you for being here. And yeah, I muted myself because I forgot the headphones, but now it should be working fine. So
Okay, so you're good. They can hear me all the time. Okay, all right. We got it, guys. Okay,
yeah.
Restart. Welcome everybody to BSL. Yeah, I'm scooting behind my my monitor as we speak. As you can see, we've got a brand new, totally real studio setup. I moved to Poland so I can sit right next to Zero and wave at him. But it's actually just really incredible to see how each season of BSL gets even better than the last one.
Yeah, I think it's extremely good. So thanks for everyone who was working on it. We were trying to deliver the most we could, and happily we have. I think I said it when I was muted, but I'm really happy that we are having the professional caster, Mr. Rapid. He's like super Gosu caster, and he's unsplittable part of BSL. And he is not only professional caster, but he also have huge StarCraft knowledge. I have only StarCraft knowledge, but I will try to keep up, and he will be covering the cast from the professional casting side. So I hope you all will be happy, and you will hope like what we prepared for you during this BSL season.
Yeah, I hope that everybody enjoys this season of BSL because we have a lot of really cool parts to this BSL. If you have never watched BSL and you're here for some strange reason, maybe one of your friends invited you. Well, you're in for a kind of a wild ride because there's some new players, some old players, and in the opening rounds of BSL, you never really know what to expect because just like we saw last season in Season 7, there can be a lot of upsets even in the very first round.
Yeah, exactly. We can have like Super Gosu players being eliminated at the beginning, and it can happen to anyone. We have 2 groups today, and we have 8 players, so only 4 will advance, and we will have like few favorites, but also few runners up. This is what the right word, right? Few players.
Underdogs.
Underdogs. Yeah, thank you for being here. So this is.
Yeah, no, it is really exciting. I think groups A and B are a little bit interesting because you have a lot of players that are really on the edge of between like Gosu League and the Pro League, who are good enough to qualify for this Pro League, but are they good enough to make it past the first round? Well, I guess we'll find out tonight.
Yeah, exactly. And I think we can show you the first match we will have today. It will be Dewalt versus Ziggy. So it will be Dewalt versus Ziggy. These are the profiles of these fantastic players. This is Dewalt, who ended up first in the ladder stage with the statistic 48 wins, 16 losses with 2,429 MMR. This is huge. And yeah, he already won BSL 3, and he was very high in every single BSL so far, beside the last one when he got eliminated in the round of 16. So I guess this is what you are talking about, Rapid, when you can say that everyone can be eliminated, right?
Yeah, even champions like Eon Zerg has been eliminated as early as the round of 16 before, too. So we've seen a lot of upsets, including Dewalt losing in the round of 16. But, that round of 16 was very, very strong. So it shouldn't be a surprise that anybody has a chance here. And when I say anybody has a chance, talking about Ziggy, Ziggy is one of our BSL casters as well. I got a chance to cast a couple of games with him last season. And so he is coming in as a brand new member of this, and we'll see what he can show, because he has an uphill battle ahead of him.
And look how young these players are. This is 1994 and 1996, so this is like, we can also say that this is fresh blood of Brood War for the next 20 years.
Yeah, we're the old blood of Brood War for sure. I mean, I'm not even the oldest, Brood War player by any means, but these kids are kind of the new generation. I was at the ACS qualifiers today, and there was a kid who was it 15 years old, who was in the qualifiers as an amateur player, and he was 2,500 MMR. I'm just like, okay, look, you're too good. Slow down. Give the rest of us a chance.
Oh my god, so he's playing, so he was born in 2005. So actually I know what to like, he was born when I knew what StarCraft is. Oh my god, and he's still already better than me.
Yeah, it's crazy. So yeah, Ziggy, Dewalt, definitely some newer players, but it's going to be exciting to see what Dewalt can do for sure this season, because he absolutely has what it takes to win.
Yeah, exactly. And this is, we will have, during this BSL, we will have first 3 matches best of 1, and elimination match and advancement match best of 3. So this first 3 matches we will have for you will be best of 1, and the first map for this best of 1 is Crossing Field. So this is the map for the match between Dewalt and Ziggy. So what do you think about Crossing Field in PvT, Mr. Rapid?
Okay, so Crossing Fields is a little bit interesting. That's also something you're going to have to get used to. We have new maps for this season of BSL, and they're pretty exciting. There's a lot of new maps for leagues out there, whether it's STPL, ASL has a bunch of new maps too, and Crossing Field is one of the new maps for BSL. This is really interesting because there's that safe back expansion. So I think a lot of times, especially if the Terran player is getting like rushed and can't get a natural expansion up, well, there's a safe expansion back there. And so a lot of times that means you're kind of guaranteed 2 bases. And sometimes Terran's pretty scary on 2 bases. So that, if you're going for something like a 2-1 push, that can certainly make it a little bit scarier. That being said, there are some really good angles to come in for Reaver drops into that safe back natural, so that can make it sort of a double-edged sword. I just want to know kind of what level Ziggy is playing on. I know I was talking to him earlier, and he said that even maybe he's comfortable on Crossing Field, but he doesn't know how he'll do up against Dewalt, so we'll find out.
Yeah, even if you are comfortable on some map, and if you are facing Dewalt, it's never good. Like, at least from my experience.
BSL going strong.
Yeah, I don't know anybody who's like, yo, yeah, I'm super happy I'm playing Dewalt today, because that's just pretty scary.
Exactly. So, are you ready, Mr. Rapid? Can we go to game number 1? Because
I'm ready. Let's get this started. BSL Season 8, ready to go.
Okay, let's go. Game number 1 between Dewalt and Ziggy. Oh, I can't wait. This is really great. Okay, I think everything is working, Mr. Rapid.
It's a BSL miracle. We already had all of our Christmas miracles, and now it's time for a BSL miracle. So, would you like to introduce the first player of BSL Season 8, Zero?
Oh, thank you for letting me do that. So, the first player on the top left or 10 o'clock position as a red Terran, directly from Poland, we will have Ziggy.
And his opponent in the bottom right-hand corner of the map, Crossing Field from Russia, it is Dewalt.
So I know that Ziggy was playing against Bonnie to practice against Dewalt, but let's see what he prepared for Dewalt and what he expected that Dewalt will do, because Dewalt and Bonnie are different players, but but definitely on the similar level. So it's very good practice partner to have to play against Mr. Bonnie.
Yeah, I don't think you can get much of a better practice partner than Bonith. And, you know, Bonith is kind of taking a little bit of a step back to focus on his family. So maybe he's not at his, you know, tip-top shape, but still, he's definitely capable of playing a lot of styles. And so for Ziggy to have that practice really does help him out here. Now, is Pylon on 8, Scout afterwards. So we'll see what Ziggy is able, or what Dewalt rather is able to find out when he gets into Ziggy's base, because nothing should look very strange at this point.
Yeah, I think he's trying to take the gas of Ziggy, because this prop is here very early. But yeah, Ziggy knows what is going on, and he will try to. Yeah, he's not allowing him to do that. But yeah, this. I think this was the intention of Dewalt, and also he's going for Nexus first, so he wanted to know if Ziggy is not going for some kind of 8 racks to prevent to deal a lot of damage to him. So that scouting is good for Dewalt for sure.
Usually, I get really upset at Protoss players who want to take a Nexus first, but on this map, it's actually not that bad, considering you have that back expansion, and sometimes back expansions, you know, are not that great. This one does have 2,000, you know, gas at its gas geyser, not 5,000, so it's reduced. But 12 Nexus is about the best start you can get. And so for Dewalt to have that and really not be under any pressure is a great start for our Russian Protoss player.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I'm wondering what is like, because from how I see it, I think Ziggy is having 2 options right now. He can go for double factories and try to apply a lot of pressure on Dewalt, or he can go for his own expansion. But yeah, he's going for the factories, so it will be some aggression, I think.
I hope so. You need to put on pressure when you find out your opponent is going 12 Nexus. And this SCV has not really seen everything. He kind of needs to get down there and check what's going on. But he should be able to figure out, wait a second, you're just kind of missing 400 minerals. So Ziggy definitely needs to put on some pressure to keep Dewalt from getting a huge economic advantage.
Yeah, exactly. This should be his goal. And we can see that he's mining gas with only 1 SCV, so I think his follow-up will be expansion, but it will be definitely very delayed compared to Dewalt, because Dewalt is already mining from his 2nd expansion and he is already producing probe from his Nexus, so it's also giving him like peon advantage.
That is definitely true. I appreciate your Warcraft reference. The advantage in peons does definitely go to Dewalt. And now both players are just trying to push out each other's scouts and make sure that they, you know, are not, you know, getting any of their super secret tech revealed. I was thinking that Ziggy might try to do something a little bit more aggressive, but instead he's just choosing to expand here, and he's not taking his back expansion. He's saving that for later. I think that's absolutely the correct response, because you know that the Protoss is not going to attack you anytime soon.
So do you think, like, do you see Crossing Field as more as a carrier map or more as an arbiter map?
So for me, especially if you could put on early pressure, like from a gateway opening as Protoss, and force the Terran to take the back expansion, Reavers are so good. But if you go arbiters, a lot of times if you get, a lot of times going towards arbiters can give you the ability to stop some of these 2-1 pushes. If you go stasis, it's kind of one way to do that. I don't know. I think it definitely depends what you feel more comfortable at, especially if you're not playing at the top level. But obviously, Dewalt, I would categorize as less of a Reaver player, more of an Arbiter player, but he definitely can be very scary with Reavers.
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially that this is a huge main base, so to turret it up, it's very expensive to make enough turrets to not let any shuttle get into your base. So it's actually a lot of potential for the Weaver player over here. You're right.
Yeah, well, I mean, same thing with Arbiters. You still have to put up a turret ring, and the bases, you have 180 degrees that you have to put turrets up. And I was talking to, it wasn't Nyokin, it was somebody else, about like how to like stop Arbiters on this map. And he said some players are just willing to spend thousands of minerals to build the world's largest turret ring just to stop that. But I don't know if that's necessarily viable. I think probably you want to be out on the map and see if you can find the angle the Arbiter's coming from, if that is in fact the case. We're already seeing a third Nexus come up here from Dewalt, so we're kind of playing PvE StarCraft.
Yeah, and Ziggy is also going for third expansion. This is a ballsy move. So I mean, maybe you have to cut some corners to like try to win against Dewalt, and maybe that's what he's doing. But having a third command center that quickly, I don't know if this is necessarily like normal opening, but I really like that move if he'll go for it. Yeah, on 1 factory 2 for command centers.
Wow. Yeah, no, this is both players have basically as few units as they can possibly have. There's like 3 Dragoons total. Okay, 3, 4. There's 5 Dragoons for Dewalt. That's his entire army right now. And for Ziggy, he's got like 3 or 4 tanks. They're all back at home. So yeah, everybody is trying to play as economical as possible. Just expand, expand, expand. And eventually they'll fight each other, but not yet.
Yeah, exactly. And I think Terran should aim for some kind of timing push out when like it should be before the recall is available, or like 4 carriers for Protoss will be available. So yeah, I'm wondering what will be his timing. But Dewalt already taking 10 probes leads, so this is huge.
Yeah, Dewalt, well, especially that 12 Nexus, you can't ask for a better start than that. And I think Dewalt's about to build a Nexus up at the 1 o'clock location here pretty soon. Because there's just nothing stopping him. He's got the observer outside of Ziggy's natural, so he knows if he's going to move out or not. And he's got one inside of his main. So Dewalt has perfect information and knows that he is not under any pressure at all.
Yeah, exactly. This is how you should play. You should check what your opponent is doing and adjust to that. And I just realized what PvE meant, player versus environment. So
yeah,
this is basically what's going on in this game so far.
Yeah, I know you're not a huge World of Warcraft person, and I've never played World of Warcraft either, but I think that's where the term kind of came from in MMOs, because you could play PvP servers where you'd fight each player, or PvE servers where, you weren't allowed to hurt other players, you just, went on quests and stuff like that. I don't know what I'm talking about here because I never actually played that. It's kind of like, you can do PvE casting too, where you never talk about the game, you just talk with each other, and then you finally are forced to talk about the game eventually. And here we are, forced to talk about the game, because finally Dewalt wants to do something, and I don't blame him. He's got a bunch of Dragoons, but I don't know if you're breaking 4 siege tanks, although I guess one of them is actually unsieged here, so that could make this a little bit more doable. But there's no Zealots here.
Oh, but he's going for it. That's shocking to me, because like I thought that Ziggy have enough, but it looks like Dewalt like calculated it perfectly, and he will be able to clear at least 3 of these tanks.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, by no Zealots there, I meant they're all in the shuttle, guys. So just pretend that I said that instead. SCVs, though, are pretty good units, especially at killing off Dragoons. So they're going to push these back, but Ziggy all of a sudden really has to pull all of these tanks out of his main. That means if there's any sort of extra drop coming in, that's going to be rough. And certainly now, Ziggy can't do anything out on the map.
Yeah, and this was a great attack from Dewalt, because he can reproduce these Dragons relatively quickly. He's already mining from 3 bases, he's adding more gateways, he's taking to the Arbiter in the same time he's applying pressure on Ziggy, who is trying to just stand in a game. It's only 3 factories from him, so he's only thinking about staying in this game instead of trying to win this game, trying to move out, I think.
Well, here we go, another big push in by Dewalt, but especially with that barracks placement, I don't think there's any way for Dewalt to break through there. At least I hope not. If he can find a way to bust that, then no Terran will ever be safe ever again. That's a very well-defended position.
Yeah, definitely. It's hard to break without shuttle or arbiter or something which will help to deal with these tanks, but Dewalt is playing versus an environment, so he's taking another base. This is 4th base, and this is what you should do. If your opponent is camping in the base, you should take all them up, and you will be fine still.
Yeah, especially a lot of newer players feel a lot of pressure when they can't break their opponent. And the answer is just what Dewalt's doing. Just pull back, expand, get a huge economy, build a bunch of gateways, max out again, and that's exactly what Dewalt is doing. He's also getting stasis for his arbiters, and that will really help him break this well-defended position if he wants to use it aggressively.
But look how many turrets did Ziggy do. I think it looks like it's almost anti-arbiter defensive already.
Yeah. This is what I was talking about earlier. Some players will just build a giant turret ring around their entire base to stop arbiters. But arbiters are pretty tanky, so it's not always very easy. Here we go. Dewalt's actually moving in here. He did drop a few zealots out of the shuttle in the back, but the zealots got cleaned up pretty quickly. Siege tanks now sieging, SCVs pulling out to try to block, and it looks like this will be enough to defend. Killing off the barracks and several SCVs is still damage being done by Dewalt.
Yeah, and he's consequently like lowering the number of the tanks from Ziggy, and he's now down to 4 again, so it will be very hard to move out for him. And this game is like already 11 minutes. Dewalt is having 130 supply, but like Ziggy with 90 supply is not that bad. He's starting more factories. I don't like, he's holding on well. Dewalt can apply pressure, but Ziggy is defending well. He's like proving that he is in the right spot being in the Pro League.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, anybody that can go toe-to-toe with Dewalt is, you know, going to be pretty good. I will say, we really do need to see 2-1 finish up very quickly for Ziggy. That's, he definitely needs that to hold on here. It's huge for Terran Mech against Protoss. And each time Dewalt goes in for these attacks, he loses his shuttle, so he has to rebuild that, and that kind of puts a pause button on his aggression. But with a bunch more Dragoons and Zealots coming out of his base across the map, Ziggy is going to have to defend miraculously once again.
Yeah, and it will be harder and harder with the more gateways from Dewalt. The pressure will be just bigger. The upgrades from Ziggy are like, he's going for 2-1, so it should be there in like, oh yeah, it will be there in a few seconds. So upgrades will be on his side at least. And he's having so many SCVs compared to Dewalt. 72, it's very good SCV production.
Right, but keep in mind the back expansion runs out of gas pretty quickly, so there's only 1,000 gas left in that geyser. So that's something to keep in mind. You do need to see another expansion soon from Ziggy, because Dewalt just took his 5th base.
This is very nice harassment. Few probes will go down, so this is... Wow. This is well done by Ziggy, and he took some attention from Dewalt and bought some time for himself, so it's well done. And he already have command center done to make 4th base, so let's see if it will work for him, because there is this, he don't have to go directly to the Dewalt army. He can go with this entrance on the bottom of his natural and still take the 4th base, so it's definitely an option for him.
Yeah, that's very true. I'm glad you pointed that out. You do not have to go out of your natural exit to take a 4th base. You can go northward. Let's see how good these stasis are. There's one stasis. Where's the second stasis? Looks like he doesn't have quite enough energy for that yet, but that still locks out a bunch of tanks there in the back, and with the Zealots being dropped out of the shuttle. Oh, this is just so much damage. There are tanks firing in the back, but the Zealots are going to take them out, and the Dragoons storm through everything in the front. I think Dewalt might just have done it 0.
Oh, you are right. It was a perfect timing attack. It was in a perfect moment when Ziggy tank was not siege moded. So it shows you how good Dewalt is. And GG, Dewalt is going to the WinX match. Congratulations.
Wow. What a bust there. If you are laddering, you're trying to climb out of your 1500 hole, which you know, may or may not be what I've been doing lately, and you try to bust a Terran player like that, and you mess up your timing, you can't drop your Zealots out of the shuttle fast enough, or something bad happens, you can really throw away your advantage. But of course, Dewalt, being the super Gosu player that he is, perfectly executed that, and was